Hello everybody, it's MAGMA and I'm here with another LEGO Star Wars Wave review. So today we're taking a look at the year 2013. And this is a pretty exciting year because there was a lot of the Star Wars Episode 2 re-released sets, because obviously I think it was being re-released in 3D. I can't fully remember, but I think that's the way it went. So there's quite a few good Star Wars Episode 2 sets, which we haven't had so many from. It's a year where we LEGO kind of just left us off. So starting off with Episode 2, obviously, there's no Star Wars Episode 1 sets. We have the 75000 Clone Troopers versus Droidicas. And this is a kind of a hated battle pack, mainly because it only has 2 Droidicas, a Clone Sergeant, which we never really saw too much in the movie, and then just 1 Clone Trooper, which obviously we all wanted to get that 1 Clone Trooper. So it's kind of a less desirable battle pack, but it is nonetheless a good build. You're getting a decent little control center. The Droidicas are pretty useful to have in your collection. And the Sergeant is still a pretty good looking minifigure. So it's a nice battle pack to get, but it was kind of sad because we weren't able to get tons of to build up our Clone Trooper armies. Do have to make mention of the 75006 Jedi Starfighter and Camino Planet set. It was alright, you kind of just got an astromech droid, so not a very desirable minifigure, and the Jedi Starfighter wasn't the best build, so not a huge or just very memorable planet set. We also have the 7515 Corporate Alliance Tank Droid. This was a great set because we got the inclusion of Jango Fett after over 10 years of not being included in LEGO Star Wars. It also came with a regular Clone Trooper, which was always a nice addition at the time, and a Battle Droid from Geonosis, which was exclusive at the time to that set. So, very nice minifigure selection. The droid tank itself, it wasn't a huge build. I mean, it's just a sleek build of the small vehicle that we saw in Star Wars Episode 3. It was meant to be in Star Wars Episode 2, but it was cut when they were recreating the CGI and all that stuff. So, kind of a set that looks a bit like a mess because it doesn't all feel very compact, but it's just a box with a good vehicle that you might want to have in your droid army, and then some decent minifigures, which was all for a very cheap or relatively cheap price. Then we have the 7516 Homing Spider Droid, a classic set for Star Wars Episode 2 fans. We see this vehicle only in Star Wars, or at least this vehicle, this droid, only in Star Wars Episode 2. The minifigure section, again, a Clone Trooper, a Jedi, and then some Super Battle Droids, very desirable for the battle if you're recreating it. It goes very well along with the other sets from Star Wars Episode 2 that I'm going to be talking about. We also have the 75117 Jewel on Geonosis. This is a nice set if you did enjoy this scene. It was one of the more memorable scenes from Star Wars Episode 2, so it is nice to get it. We got the exclusive minifigure of Count Dooku, Poggle the Lesser, and then Yoda. So the minifigure selection was very nice. That's really what you wanted to get for this set, and you had a nice display piece if you wanted to just display your LEGO set. It is also a very fun set to play with because it has quite a few fun features in it. Next up is the 7519 ATTE. This was one of the bigger sets. Again, this is what I was mentioning. The Homing Spider Droid and the Corporate Alliance Tank Droid go well along with this set because you're just recreating Geonosis. This was the smallest of the ATTE walkers, but by far the best looking and the most compact. You're definitely getting not so much space in the interior, but you're getting a great looking vehicle from the exterior. Very fun to play with, very sturdy, and definitely will not break. You got some very nice minifigures such as the Clone Commander, Windu, Clone Trevor, and then a bunch of battle droids. So really, definitely a set not to miss out on if you are a prequel fan. And then we have the classic 75021 Republic Gunship. This is one of my favorite sets in my collection. The minifigure selection is perfect. You're really getting all the minifigures you need. And on top of that, you're getting a really great gunship. It's a solid build. It's not going to break. It looks perfect. There's almost no problems with this set. Some would argue that it is the atmosphere version of the gunship and not the space version of the gunship, but that's because it's specific to Star Wars Episode 2 and not Star Wars The Clone Wars. If we move on to Star Wars Episode 3, we have the 75007 Republic Assault Ship and Coruscant. I don't know why this set is labeled as Star Wars Episode 3, but apparently it is. You're getting just a regular Clone Trooper, which we saw in a few sets, so nothing very special there. But it is nice to see the inclusion of the Republic Assault Ship, which LEGO has never made a full-scale version of it. I do have to mention the planet of Coruscant is also a nice little detail. If we move on to Star Wars Episode 4, there's interesting sets. We have the 75011 Tantive 4 and Alderaan. This is one of the harder planet sets to get because it was only released in Europe as far as I'm concerned. It came with just a regular Rebel Trooper. We don't see those too often. And then the build for the 10T4 was very nice, delicately. It's a very small and sleek looking build, very enjoyable. Definitely highly suggest people picking up this set. I do have to make a mention of the 10240 Red 5 X-Wing Starfighter from the UCS line. A very good looking model, very nice, obviously very classic because it is literally the X-Wing, the Red 5 X-Wing. Next up from Star Wars Episode 5, we have the 75008 TIE Bomber and Asteroid Field. This is one of the less impressive planet sets. Really, you're just getting a ball with a bunch of printed asteroids, so simulating the asteroid field. The TIE Bomber was a nice addition, but we never really got a full version of this set ever since 2002, so kind of disappointing. And the pilot himself, we do get him in quite a few other sets. So next up we have the 75009 Snowspeeder and Hoth. This was a bit more exciting because we got a more exclusive pilot. Hoth was an alright planet, and the Snowspeeder is definitely a nice little addition. It's very fun and small build, kind of just accurate. Regarding the Battle of Hoth set, it was a small $50 set, so a pretty decent price point. And what was really exciting with this set is that you really got an amazing array of minifigures, especially if you wanted to complete your Battle of Hoth. There was included a Snowspeeder, which was a very nice build, some trenches and some cannons as well if you want to complete once again your Hoth display, and some Tauntauns. So it was really a completionist set for the Battle of Hoth, but it was also a very easy set to get if you wanted to get good minifigures for Hoth, and just a classic part of the Star Wars saga. From Star Wars Episode 6, we got quite a few sets from that year. We have the 10236 Ewok Village from the direct consumer line, so I'll be talking about those in a more specific video, as usual. Then we have the 75003 Awing Starfighter. This was a nice set because it was cheap. You got the Awing, which was a perfect build, and there was a decent minifigure selection such as the return of Admiral Akbar, Han Solo, and an exclusive A-Wing pilot, so definitely a nice set to go after. We also have the 75005 Rancor Pit. This set was compatible with the one from 2012, with Jabba's Palace from 2012. It came with the Rancor himself, one of the big figures, which really makes this set so expensive. There's also a nice array of minifigures included, such as the Gamorrean Guard, the Rancor Keeper, and Luke Skywalker himself. It's a very nice display piece and very fun to combine with the Jabba's Palace if you have that set. Next up is the 75010 Bwing Starfighter and Endor. Once again, a very fun little planet set. You're getting a decent Bwing build. This is Endor itself, not the forest moon of Endor, so it kind of looks weird, but you're still getting a nice minifigure included with the set, just being the Bwing pilot. So very collectible minifigure right there. Then we have the 75020 Jabba's Sail Barge. Honestly, this set is interesting because you do have quite a nice minifigure selection, a return of a lot of exclusive minifigures to this set. What's less interesting is probably its price and its downsize compared to the older version, which looked a bit more sleek, a bit more refined, and so on. But what I do enjoy about this one is how sturdy it is and how open and playable it is compared to the older version. That year, there was quite a few sets from the expanded universe. We got the 75001 Republic Troopers versus Sith Troopers. Again, one of those 2-in-1 battle packs, not very exciting. I got quite a few of these guys because I did enjoy Star Wars: The Old Republic, but if you didn't really care much for this, this is definitely not a set to go after. And the same can be said for the 75018 Jack 14 Stealth Starfighter. This was from the Yoda Chronicles. If you didn't really follow up with that show, there was really no reason to get this set. And that's kind of the reason why I didn't actually get this. It's inspired from an E-Wing in Star Wars, which is something from the expanded universe we haven't actually seen in the canon. So it is kind of interesting to get this vehicle still if you are a hardcore Star Wars concept art fan, I guess. The minifigure section was interesting, but no characters that were memorable or interesting from Star Wars. There was also the 75023 Advent Calendar. Like every single year, it was just a nice calendar to get a bunch of figures and me-builds before Christmas. Then there's the 75025 Jedi Defender class cruiser, and this set was also from the Old Republic, but even though it's from the Old Republic, I still feel like it has a great shape, a great look. It's definitely a set worth going after if you are just either a Star Wars: The Old Republic fan or just a Star Wars fan, because the set looks so iconic, even though it's not iconic, and it's weird because it just looks so Star Wars-like, and it looks amazing. I have this set and it looks amazing in my collection, even though no one really knows what this set is. And that's what makes this set so great, I guess. The minifigure section, once again, is amazing, so you're getting very refined minifigures. The Star Wars Old Republic sets in general are very sleek and beautiful looking. Most people probably don't know what they are. And then we have quite a few sets from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Let's start off with the 75002 ATRT. Great set. Kind of sad I missed out on this set. I hope I'll be getting it in the future. You're getting an oversized 501st ATRT, which still looks good. The vehicle looks good. It's just oversized for a minifigure. And then you're getting a bunch of cool minifigures that we saw from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So definitely a nice little set to go after. We have the 75004 Z95 Headhunter. Very X-Wing looking like vehicle. I very highly recommend this set because you're getting great minifigures from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. If you followed up with the Unbar series, this is definitely not a set to miss. And the Headhunter in general is just a very playable, swooshable, and sleek looking vehicle. So there was a more exclusive 75012 Bark Speeder with sidecar. Kind of odd looking set. It was kind of just cheap and harder to get. What was nice about this was the minifigure selection. You got Obi-Wan, and then a Captain Rex, and then some droids. So definitely a very nice vehicle, a very nice little set to get. It's a nice little play set, but you're not getting so much out of it. I do have to say the build for the bike speeder or the Bark Speeder with sidecar is very original. Next up, again from the Unbar series in the Clone Wars, is the Unbar MHC set number 75013. What's pretty exciting with this set is that you got the 212 Clone Trooper, or at least the one Lego called 212. It also came with Ahsoka and then some Unbarans themselves. So if you were a big fan of that part of the Clone Wars, then this is definitely a set to get. It was very fun. It's a nice vehicle that replaces us from the common separatist vehicles that we tend to see, such as the AAT, the Spider Droids, all that stuff. So it's a more original part of Star Wars, and finally gives us another villain, being other than just simple battle droids. So that's what really makes this set interesting and nice. But if you were not a big fan of the Clone Wars and you weren't really aware of the Unbar series or just from those series of episodes, then this is probably a set you can just miss out on and nothing will probably happen. And then there's the 75022 Mandalorian Speeder from the Lawless episode in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This one is just memorable because obviously the Lawless was one of the best episodes in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, but the minifigures are also very cool, but just in general the speeder is not the most memorable build. So it's a nice little detail to have if you are a Clone Wars fan, but you're not missing out on anything like stupendous. And the same can be said for the HH87 Starhopper. If you want to have a more original looking Clone Wars vehicle, like I guess, something that's just a bit more different than just the regular Republic vehicles and Separatist vehicles, this is a nice set to get. It's from the Huts. It's from Now Hutta. It's the one used by the gangsters and all that kind of stuff. So you're getting a very nice minifigure such as Cad Bane, a pirate, and Obi-Wan disguised as the bounty hunter. So very specific to the Clone Wars, but it is nonetheless a very good LEGO Star Wars set. So, finishing off with the poly bags, they're all nice, they're all worth getting if you really are into getting poly bags, I guess, but they're just poly bags. We have the 30240 Z95 Headhunter, very good looking. We have the 30241 Mandalorian Starfighter, kind of just lacking and very small. Then we have the 30242 Republic Frigate, very good looking. I do have this one and it looks nicely next to my other Republic frigates. And then we have the 30243 Unbar MHC. You really feel that LEGO couldn't care less about this poly bag. So guys, that is it for 2013. I know this was a pretty long video, but that's all I have to say about this year. There's quite a few sets, a lot of good sets. There's hardly any bad sets. Looking at the sets right now, let me just check. I don't really see any bad sets. I would almost recommend all the sets, all the mainstream sets from this year. So that is it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time here in another video on the MAGMA channel. Bye bye.